If I could turn back the calendar like a time machine and go back to 2013 and give myself artistic advice, I'd tell myself of the 3 mistakes to avoid when drawing caricatures, and this is what I would say. Mistake 1, don't draw crazy looking heads. What do I mean by that? I did this drawing in 2013 and it is one crazy looking head. Forgive me for assaulting your eyes with this thing. And not the person, but the drawing that I did is the crazy. This is another one that I did, and just look at the guy's drawing I did. It looks crazy. Why? Because it's almost like a squished water balloon, like there's no bones underneath the skin. If I could go back in time, this is how I would show myself how to fix the drawing. What I needed to do is practice basic head construction. Now, this is kind of known as the Loomis method, but I start off with a sphere for the skull. Now I'm drawing the side of the sphere. And this is not perfect, but it's a lot better than those photos I just showed you. So this is the basic shape of a skull. There's the cranium part of the skull and like the jaw part of the skull. And that is a solid shape. It is not like a gushy, smushy water balloon. It's, in my mind, I think of it sort of a block of wood, a solid shape. Now every head is not the same, and when you're drawing caricatures you may want to exaggerate, but even if you're exaggerating, you're still thinking in terms of a solid construction shape. Let's pretend like this head is an extreme exaggeration of somebody with a long face. Now you see, I could draw a caricature on top of that, and that would be a caricature of someone with a very long face and a long chin. But even at the same time, it is a solid shape. I wish I had been drawing like this. And it works even if you got someone with a rounder shaped head. Like maybe you're drawing Santa Claus or something. But you see what I mean. It is a solid shape head, a constructed shape. It's not this type of thing. I know I'm exaggerating, but it's not a water balloon. It is a solid shaped head that very much resembles a real head, even though it could be caricatured. And so I would say to my past self, if you can avoid drawing crazy heads, that would be your best policy. And the next advice I would give myself is don't draw plastic eyes. And I might start arguing with myself. I might say, hey, what do you mean plastic eyes? I'm doing the best I can. And I would say, let me show you what I'm talking about and how to fix it. Okay, this is a drawing I did way back when, and look at those eyes. They look like plastic eyes on a doll from the dollar store. We got to fix that. So check this out. I'm going to draw it. Let's use this marker. So I'm drawing this eye. A little quick eye. Iris. And then I'm going to draw a plastic eye. As if I'm looking at a doll. The cheap, like a literal 50-cent doll at the dollar store. So I'm going to draw a big, unrealistic highlight. The pupil. And I did put some shadow in back then, but... And check that out. That is a super plastic eye. Also, you'll see a lot of this in like anime style with, well, I would say bad anime, which I never really tried to draw like that. But bad plastic eyes, don't do it. Okay, so instead, draw a more realistic eye. And how would I do that? Let's see, maybe I'm just drawing this one from my imagination, so let's see, let me get a good marker. Alright, that'll work. Okay, so woman's eye. I think the key to not drawing a plastic eye, well, number one, it's in the shape of the eye, that the shape is more realistic. But also, it could be in the highlight. So, there's several ways to do it, I guess, but you could put the highlight inside the pupil's shape. Make it smaller. Now look at that. This looks like a plastic doll's eye, and this looks more like a real eye. I mean, it's, of course, it's cartoony, it's line art, but it does look less plastic. Let's see if we can draw a man's eye. Maybe this is an older man's eye, so we're going to make it a little more square. Let's see what we can do here. I'm going to try something unplanned. Let's just go for it. What if this guy has super bright blue eyes and tiny pupils? Well, in this case, the highlight, I just cut it out. I didn't draw it as a perfect circle like that. Instead, I just cut it out of the pupil shape. And as you can see, that looks a lot more natural. Whereas this, like I said, it looks like one of those dolls from a horror movie that starts following you around the house and you can't figure out how it's moving. And you freak out and throw the doll in the garbage can. So don't draw creepy plastic eyes. Instead, draw a more natural looking eye. And the only way to do that is to look at real eyes and practice. And finally, if I could go back 10 years in the past and give myself art warnings, I would tell myself, please don't draw chicken necks. What do you mean chicken necks? Well, let me show you. Just look at the skinny chicken necks that I was drawing on people back in the day. I mean, what was I thinking, y'all? We've definitely got to fix that. I would tell myself to remember, I mean, if you're drawing a caricature, it's okay to draw it cartoony, of course. I'm doing a quick sketch, but you can draw a skinnier neck, but usually the neck connects somewhere behind the ear. And so a little bit of larger neck to give you a foundation to hold the head up helps. Okay, so now I'm going to try to redraw this lady that I drew almost 10 years ago or longer. And I am going to try and fix the gushy water balloon head, the plastic eyes, and the chicken neck. Okay, so that's it. Let me just erase some of these pencil lines. I did more of a sketch on this one. So this one is not perfect, but I think it's much better than the original I did 10 years ago. You can tell, even though it's kind of a cartoon, that there is a skull underneath that skin, and it is constructed like a real head. The eyes are not plastic, they look a little bit more natural, and I don't have a long rubbery chicken neck. So if only I had a time machine, I could go back 10 years ago and tell myself all this stuff. Because when I was beginning, I was just not aware of the weirdness that I was drawing. But I'm going to keep practicing, and I hope you do too. So if you don't have a time machine, please smash the like button, and I'll see you next time.